that was my breaking point. I'm sure you can
Right.
imagine. When I told him I was exhausted and broken and thinking of ending in my life, his response or his lack of response
Mm.
was the moment I needed in life. When I finally understood you can't belong to something until you belong to yourself.
It's Relationships at Work, a leadership podcast helping you build workplace connection, improve culture, and avoid blind spots. I am your host, Russell Lulker, communications and leadership expert with a couple of decades under my belt of experience in both those areas. Whole heap of curiosity, too. I have questions, just like you, on how we can make the workplace a better place. What does belonging mean to you personally? What does it feel like? How does it show up? How does it impact you? Do you even know? Do you even feel like you belong where you work now? A lot of people don't. A lot of leaders don't. It drives me nuts too that we sometimes dismiss leaders as, oh, they're fine, don't worry about them. They're employees too. They also need to feel like they belong, especially if they're expected to make their teams feel like they belong. How can we be pouring from an empty cup, right? So we need to define it for ourselves, what our relationship is with belonging, the steps we might need to do to incorporate it into our own practices so that we can help others. And that's the focus today when it comes to belonging. It's our second part of our 4-part conversation with Dr. Beth Kaplan. And it's time that we really focused on that relationship we have with ourselves when it comes to belonging. Hold on. Previously, before we got into having this conversation, we'd sort of talked about where we wanted to shift our belonging conversation to. And I really like that we were going to, and this is where I kind of want to dig into this, is the perspective of a experienced leader and the
Mhm.
perspective of a new leader in how
Yes.
they approach belonging. So that's where I want to start now, is that from an experienced leader's perspective, what do they need to understand about themselves to help others in their belonging?
Oh my goodness, I love this question so much because experienced leaders and new leaders are so different. I often love when experienced leaders tell me they get a second wind,
Mm,
right? Where they feel new to something. So as I said before, we all get into leadership not for the glamour of all the administrative work, but to coach and grow other people. And I think newer leaders have a fresher perspective. They're ready to take on the world, right?
right.
I'm going to make you a superstar, Russell, and I'm going to promote you, and all your dreams are coming true, right? Whereas experienced leaders have the baggage of the weight of the role, of what has not worked for them in the past. And it dramatically impacted their own sense of belonging. I
Mm,
always like to say, leaders are employees too. They need to feel it also. And you can't do for others until you understand your own sense of belonging. So the book I wrote, Belonging, Braving the Workplace, Belonging at the Breaking Point, does address this for leaders also. And understanding what your own sense of belonging is. I think that's really key for experienced leaders to
mm,
understand where you've been, what you set out to do, and to understand if the job is serving you. I've had many conversations with people that dream to stop being a leader because it's just so hard these days. So I always like to say, if you're an experienced leader, take a step back. Start the newness again. And you can. This is the thing. You can always have a beginner's mindset when it comes to leadership. So if you're out there right now and you've been a leader for 10, 20 years, even if you've had the same team for 10, 20 years,
mm.
you want to do things that are going to refresh. Okay. So that might be you and I having a conversation and me learning a little bit more about you. Okay. Aside from the fact of me understanding how I work, understand and meet your employees where you're at. That could be as simple as, Russell, we've never talked about what you majored in college. Oh, journalism? Wow. It's crazy. Did you like print? Did you like, I don't know, interview style? Oh, you writing. Wow. You don't do much writing. Is that something you'd be interested in doing here? And what I'm doing is I'm learning about you. I'm taking your interests. And then you need to go the mile. You need to go extra and start putting that into their job responsibilities. And you're going to see two things happen. One, you're going to see them light up, which is really important. And you're going to light up because you're going to start becoming the leader that you wanted to be.
I like that we need to start with self-awareness because, I mean, that
Yes.
is so key. But
Yes.
in understanding our self-awareness, And I'll be honest, most experienced leaders have a harder time with this.
Very
I think
much.
because they're so entrenched, because they're in the this is the way we've always done it
Yes.
mentality. Not I'm not throwing them under the bus on this. This is just
No,
being conditioned and habitual. This just
sure.
naturally happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. It's easy to say, stop, take a breath, but it feels like there's more to it because they obviously haven't been doing that at this point because
Yes.
for their, things like I've been too busy. When am I going to have time, Beth, to stop and reflect?
I have to meet numbers. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So I love to be challenged on this one because a lot of times more senior leaders will come to me and they're like, I know this belonging thing is important. It's a little hokey. And I always say to them, then don't look at the emotional side of it, although that's going to happen no matter what you do.
Mm,
Look at it from a numbers perspective. I mean, disengagement costs a lot of money. In the United States alone, we spend between 450 and $550 billion on disengagement. It's like killing a fly with a hammer.
mm,
And so you as a leader can look at the time you spend as an investment, not only in the people with you, but yourself. This is the thing. If you're an experienced leader, to your point, you've seen it not work plenty of times. So you need to change it up. You need to kick your own butt a little bit and really understand what will make you happy and what will make your employees feel more valued and seen, right? Everyone has a sense of mattering in this issue. Everyone wants to feel like they are doing their best and that there's someone out there that cares about them. Okay. So there's been many times, and just for anyone out there to understand, many times that I personally have not felt a connection to a company, but a connection to a boss or a
mm.
connection to the team and not the boss. Belonging is not a one size fits all. It can be partial. I mean, think about it this way. I belong to 3 gyms. One has to go, by the way. It's not working that well. But I feel a deep membership to 2 of the 3, and they're different. So that means that we can take that into any situation in our lives and feel partial belonging to some, not to others. But if you're out there and you're thinking, I just need to be a better boss, a better human, a better anything, always we lead with the people. Always want to feel a sense of camaraderie with the people you're with. And that doesn't mean you're best friends at work. It doesn't mean you know everything about them. It means you need to meet people where they're at. And this is really important. Need to do for yourself. You need to tell them about you. And again, I'm not saying blood type and your children's middle names. I'm saying you need to understand and tell them what works for you. These are the boundaries I set. I don't receive calls between 5 and 7 because I'm with my kids. Or this is the communication style I love. I do terrible with Slack. Please don't Slack me important things. Send me an email. Send me these things. And at the same time, if you're sending me problems, fantastic. Let me know I need to remove the interference for you. And once you do that, it's so simple. You're teaching people how you want to work and how they can work best with you. So if you're an experienced leader, beginner's mindset, you can do all of that.
In your research, you've looked at a lot of leaders and people in the workplace. What are some qualities and motivations you think sets them better up for success? Because we've already talked a bit about care and
Mhm.
how integral that is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just kind of curious as to where they should be focusing their efforts or maybe lean into if those are strengths they have already.
I always like to say, and by the way, it's not me who first said it, I wish it was, but I always like to say the best leaders set the vision and the strategy and make it feel consensus driven. So this is what we need to do. Are we all on board with it? And then they let people get at it. They don't micromanage. In the sales world, it's very easy to make parallels between the manager and being a super rep, someone that just takes over things. And so as a leader, that's where trust and care come in. You need to build time in for people to fail. And that's really painful for all leaders in the workplace. It's very painful to have a deadline that you might potentially not meet. That being said, you'll keep missing those deadlines if you don't fix the problem initially. I have an employee situation that recently came up where we realized this employee was beloved. Truly, everyone in the organization really liked her, but no one necessarily respected the work she did.
Mm,
So as a leadership team, we thought, wow, we are failing her. Such a smart, capable person with a stellar reputation. But what would happen if she was seen as a subject matter expert in addition to the support she gives other people? It's been hard. It's been really hard because we realize she does not know as much as we thought. And that's on us to help get her there. That means a process of learning, unlearning, and being okay with vulnerable situations. And I have to tell you, it's working. And now it's slow and painful, but it's working. And I have no doubt that the next time we get evaluations on this employee, it's going to be she knows her stuff.
Right.
We feel comfortable. We trust that she's been in our shoes. Things like that.
And a big thank you to Dr. Beth Kaplan for joining us for part 2 of 4. This is Relationships at Work, a leadership podcast helping you build workplace connection, improve culture, and avoid blind spots. I am Russell Lolliker, always thanking you for your time because we don't have a lot of it. And that was one of the big inspirations for me breaking up these conversations into smaller, tighter, more focused episodes because you are busy. Your commute is even sometimes busy working, thinking about work. So if I can make them a little bit more targeted, a little bit more easier to add to your day, how's that? Then I'm hopefully making it a little bit more valuable to you. So I'm hoping you're enjoying it so far. And I look forward to you joining us again tomorrow for the third part, where we talk about belonging as it relates to our teams and those we have influence and accountability to. I look forward to talking to you then. Take care.